What's up, guys? Your boy Colin Osborne. In this video, like we talked about, I'm going to be showing you how to set up payment gateways. I've noticed that a lot of people out in the world today are still using Venmo, still using Zelle to collect their business payments, and it doesn't make any sense. It's not how to run a business. You can push, in most states at least, the surcharge of what Stripe may pay you to the customer, and you can allocate for that. And we could talk about that in another video because that's more into a Stripe manual process or into a payment process. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the payment gateways so that you can get paid. So the first thing you guys need to do and make sure you, and this is what we built in earlier in the course, is having a payment processor. So we set up Stripe just because it was the most integratable payment processor in the platform for high level. I like Stripe. I've heard of other issues. I haven't had any issues yet. I just want to say that I think Stripe is one of the best platforms used, but you can also use Authorize.net and PayPal as well. But for this particular demonstration, we're going to be using Stripe. So anyways, previous in the video, you would have had to have integrated Stripe here. So you would have had to have set up a business account. Let's just start really over at the beginning. In order to have the Stripe account, you'd have had to have set up a business like we did, discussed early, and then gotten an EI number, then gotten a business bank account, then gotten a Stripe account, and then set up that Stripe account with your business bank account, syncing that payment processor to work. You had to put your EIN number and a lot of business information in there. And then you would have been able to have a working Stripe account that allows you to accept payments from other people. And you could start charging your customers whatever you want to charge your customers, whether it's a one-time payment, whether it's a contract, whether it's an estimate, whether it's a reoccurring payment that you have for 4 weeks or 4 days or 4 months. Those things can all be set up. So keep that in mind. So I want you guys to start like, oh, wait, so if I have lawn maintenance and I knew that I was going to be doing it with the guy for, 3 months and I was going to be seeing his, going to his house, twice a month for 3 months, can I set that up? Yes, you can. It's correct. And then it'll just charge his account 6 times. He knows it. And there's going to be an invoice being sent to his email. There's going to be a notification being sent to your email, and everybody's winning. So keep that in mind. All right, so I have my Stripe account integrated and set up. So just keep that in mind that you have to have that set up. So now the next thing is creating products. So you can get to the product section, by the way, by once again having a high level account, going to the payment section, and then clicking on products. Okay. So how do products relate to you? You're like, oh, I have like services and stuff. This is where you would still build in that product, because your product or services is really, they should probably have product/services here, but just to keep that in mind, it's the same thing inside of the platform where your product/services would be creating here. So if you're a landscaping client or you're a landscaper and you have lawn maintenance, $80 a month, okay, and you're charging, your customers $80 a month, for the entirety of the spring and the summer, how would you set that up? Well, you go in here and then you do lawn maintenance. Okay. And you could upload meat if you want to. You can have a product label if you want to. This is more for the e-commerce section. You can add it to a product collection, but we don't need to do that there. If there are taxes involved, you can add that in there. I personally like to do my own, but you can add those different things in there. So maybe we wanted to do landscaping services. Okay. And then this is, I would say, the icing on the cake right here. You have one-time and reoccurring prices. So if you are a person who you're like, I want to do lawn maintenance until they cancel me, then you could have the amount be $80, maybe to do like a small yard, like my yard's not that big. And then you want it to be billing period of monthly, weekly, daily, maybe it's weekly, or maybe it's monthly. And then the number of payments, maybe they signed up, May 11th. So they sign up on the 14th, and you know that whoever signs up in this period is going to be getting 6 payments, so that you then just have that right there. And then you can have essentially a payment that it will trigger when someone goes through and pays for it. When I show you how to set up the actual payment port afterwards, someone will be able to easily purchase through the site. And then you have your search engine listings, if you wanted to set that up. But personally, this is probably going to be more for e-commerce, in my opinion, if you're going to do that. That'll be a completely separate course that I'm going to be launching. That's how you would go about setting up a reoccurring or a one-time payment. Now you're probably wondering what a setup fee is. For me, when my setup fee would be a web design product. So let's just say I have someone signing up for the starter plan for $35 a month, but the website's going to cost $597. Well, then I don't want to have two individual products that are $597 and $35, even though I could, but I would rather just capture all the money at once. So $597 would be the setup fee, and then it would also charge, like $35 for the amount of reoccurring. And the setup fee is a one-time fee, just to keep that in mind. So if that's part of your business model, that's how you would have that set up in the first place. And then and once again, this is very more for e-commerce because it provides you with that like ability to have like white, black, green, purple shirts and stuff like that. So we have lawn maintenance at $80, and then we have the product there. And just pro tip, sometimes what happens is it might say sync with Stripe up here, and just make sure if that button pops up, you click it, because sometimes like it either won't sync and you will need to sync it, and sometimes it automatically does. I'm sure they're patching up that situation, but that's really what you have to do. Anyway, so we have the lawn maintenance product now in the platform. Now what we'd want to do is decide, all right, what is my sales process? Am I someone who just has a conversation with like a homeowner, and then the guy's like, yeah, I'm really interested in doing landscaping. How do I get started? And it's like, just go on my website, go to the landing page, just sign up right there, we'll go. I'm going to show you how to do that real quickly, but I'm also going to show you via a contract system as well too. All right, so let's go to templates. So we're going to do a new template, and this is where you can have your own contracting system. Once again, this is if it's part of your process. So I'm going to use ChatGPT to create a quick landscaping contract. Perfect. I'm going to copy that over there. All right. Boom. Now, I'm not going to fill in all this information just because it's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a while. But I'm going to tell you some pro tips. So one, I would just make sure whatever the information that you're going to have for the customer, like let's just say maybe you're going to do the landscaping contract first. There's going to be certain information that you're going to probably want them to fill out first. So like maybe it's a inquiry that they fill out first, which provides you with all the information necessary to capture this information so that when you send the contract, like the information is there. Because you will find that if you just use a contract to send out to people, that information is going to be there without it being in the system. So just keep that in mind. So if you click on this little bell button, it's a custom values button. You can put your first name information in there and it'll autofill very easily. Same thing with this. Same thing with that. And same thing with this. Okay. Now you're wondering where does the money come into play? Because that's what everyone is thinking about. So you go here to the product list and you would drop this product list section here. And then you just go to add the item. Click lawn maintenance. If there's a setup fee, then you would add that there. And then that's where you can then add taxes if you want to add taxes. And then you'd also then be able to add like a signature section here too. And then knows that it's reoccurring. Repeats monthly one time. Let's go here, add a signature section. So one thing is always take this thing off because it looks weird, and like click off the show signature or signer name because this kind of looks weird in my opinion. And then they also have a date. Now, if you have a process, you just start running people through this entire process, and people are going to appreciate it because they're going to be like, man, like this small business owner has got all of this stuff and he's able to do it seamlessly. And next thing I'm actually going to be launching too is an AI course for small business owners. And essentially, what it's going to do is it's going to provide people with the ability to literally have an AI employee answer calls for you and book appointments, or utilizing a chat bot. You can essentially bake in Q&A information and it will communicate with a customer and get that customer to book an appointment with you. It's honestly pretty awesome. So I'm going to be releasing that course too, and I hope you guys are excited about that as well. But yeah, so then that's how you would be able to essentially set that up. Now let's just show you what it looks like when you have it set up. So let's just go to preview. Now, I don't have the auto-filled information in there, but it would be in there for that. But that's where you could go to sign, and that's where they would have to pay the amount of, to pay whatever the amount is, in there. And you just saved a whole bunch of time rather than having to like, oh, hey, here's my Zelle account, go on here. No, it's like, go on to my branded website, onto my branded domain, click on this landing page, put your card information in, and experience everything that I've created when it comes to all of the, notifications, email marketing, and service that I have to offer. Okay. So that's how you would set up a contract, have it be paid that way so that you're able to, start making money if you're a landscaper, if you're a plumber, if you're an electrician. Now, same thing goes with funnels. I'm just going to show you a quick buy funnel. So let's start out with the products. So first things first is to know, all right, is this the order form page I'm going to be utilizing? You want to make sure that you can add your product here. So this is where the lawn maintenance product could go if I was selling lawn maintenance, which I am not. But if I did that, you would be able to see what the price is at $80. You can change what the product name is, etc. But this is really actually a wrong one. So let me go to need to change this to 1097 so we can actually do this real quickly. So we add 1090. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to go into the back. That's weird, right? Let me go back to payments and see. Doing some editing live just because it just seems like there was I need to change this. All right, 1097. So we've added a product there. Product is there now. And then let's actually just go on the landing page. I'm just going to quickly show you guys this because I don't want this to be an overarching video. I just want to give you some ideas of how you would be able to send a link out and then get paid. It's just really what I'm all about. All right, so setting up a quick landing page doesn't have to be super intricate, doesn't have to be super exciting or amazing, but it should provide the product and its services and what you have to offer on there. You do need to add a order form. So you can create one. Where is it at? Here, order elements. So you can have a one-step order, a two-step order. It depends on the nature of your business. A one-step order has a longer form, so just prepare your design concepts behind that. A one-step order does a two-step order. It's smaller, so it provides more design capabilities, in my opinion. And it's not like this long overarched form here. And the products is already integrated into the form, so all you need to do is just make sure that the form is live, which it is. As you can see here, this is a live page. All they need to do is go in, pay, and then last thing is make sure, because you don't want to go through all the trouble of creating all of this stuff. You have everything set up, and then when they press play, it doesn't fire to the next step. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you know this is firing, because if not, it'll still fire, but it'll look weird when the customer doesn't go to the next step and you got to explain to them, oh, I didn't set that up properly. So I just have a questionnaire. This is normally how I do my web design, where I then get a bunch of information about the sites they want, and colors and all other stuff like that. And then I have a thank you page as well, just to provide that experience that they would normally experience at a top tier company. So that's how you'd be able to set up payment gateways through an order form or through contracts. And maybe you're just like, hey, I just want to be able to send someone a document or send some a link, and then they get paid and I go about my merry way. So what we're going to do, we're going to hop onto one of these. All right, so what you can do as well is you can send people payment links. It's great. So you can request a payment, be like, hey, lawn maintenance, where we at? Let's see. I think it can only be one-time payments on there. Yeah, it can only be one-time payments. So if you wanted to send a one-time payment there, that's how you would be able to do it. But you can essentially send a link and have someone pay for it as well if it was like you were doing one-offs. But that would be another easy way to do it. You would just need to make sure that your Stripe account is integrated and baked in. And then you also have your charge set up inside of the Stripe payment section. All right, guys, that's honestly how you do it. There are definitely other different ways that you could go about, setting up your payment portals, but I just went over a couple of different ones just to, I would say some of the more common ones is order forms or contracts, invoices, or, just sending out a payment link that they can go on, pay for. You get paid, they get their service, everybody's happy. So that's how you set up payment gateways inside of Go High Level. If you want a more customized, more focused, I would say, video dedicated to your business, feel free to reach out to me and we can have a discussion on that. I'll be able to show you, how I can help you guys out. Make sure you guys are communicating in the community. If you have any questions, drop them in there and I'll be able to answer them via link video. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video extremely valuable and stay tuned to the next video. Thank you.